Friday, June 5th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host for today, Jay Skipper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett, working his way behind the boards, keeping everything nice and smooth. We got a great show for you today. I see some people in the chat already asking about George. He's going to come on and give some UFL. Yeah, we got UFL Playoffs semifinals happening this weekend. We'll break all that down here on the show with George. Plus, we'll talk some NFL. He's been putting out some tier lists. The penultimate tier list, at the end of the day, ended up being the NFL teams tier list. And when going through a process like that and ranking every single team in the NFL, you often come away with some preconceived notions change, right? Having to sit down and do this exercise yourself, it changes your opinion on things. You might be higher on some teams than you didn't expect. You might be lower on some teams that you didn't expect. So I want to talk that through with George. See what kind of shocked him after going through that process, where he lands with his NFL tier list. Then after that, you know it's coming. World Cup. We're keep on keeping on here. We got Goon coming on to break down groups F, G, and H as we head into the weekend. Going to talk a bunch of World Cup stuff here. If you're enjoying the show, do us a favor, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel as well, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on podcasts, rate and review 5 stars. Write a review as well, and maybe we'll read it here on the show. All right. The question: to challenge or not to challenge? Because that is the question that faced John Tortorella last night. And he decided to challenge in a tie game where he felt that his team scored, was ruled no goal, went up to the situation room, no goal. You know what that means. You're on the penalty kill now. Carolina comes back, scores 3-2. Oh my goodness, John Tortorella, that might be one of the worst challenges I've ever seen. But to add some context, I actually didn't hate the challenge that much. I want to hear what your opinion of the challenge was in the chat, because, well, yes, it was kind of a dumb challenge. I don't hate him taking a risk like that, because this penalty kill, this special teams for Vegas has been incredible all playoffs, all year. The power play for the Hurricanes has been awful so far in the playoffs. But as it goes, you tempt fate, you test things out, and they end up scoring. Tough. What an incredible game we got last night, though, in the NHL. Back and forth the entire way. Mark Stone scoring with 2 minutes left on the clock, sending it to overtime. Bad penalty in overtime leads to a goal for Carolina. Tied 1-1 in the series. And I still can't believe that game wasn't a coin flip. But right now, looking ahead at the lines for game 3, -110, both sides. So we finally get that coin flip with Vegas on home ice. I still think Vegas is going to win this series. I really do. But good thing we can bet on it. And we'll talk about that later on in the show for the dog of the day. Curious to hear your thoughts again on that challenge. If you thought it was the right move, wrong move from Torts, good risk. I like the dice roll. I don't hate it. Anyways, let's get into the show for today. We're going to bring on George in just a second. Before we do that, the Hammer Daily is brought to you by FanDuel. It all comes down to this. Who do you think will be wearing the ring at the end of the NBA Finals? Take your shot with FanDuel, and you might just be celebrating a victory of your very own. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment, from spreads to player points to threes and so much more. Build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this finals, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts. Let's flip over to BetStamp Pro quickly. Find some of the best prices in market for you to add to your same-game parlay. Mikal Bridges under 1.5 steals -186. That's a good number. Keldon Johnson under rebounds +107. Best price in market. Very good relative to market. If you like that, you can take that as well. I believe that was 2.5 rebounds. Landry Shamet, 10+ points and rebounds +114. BetStamp Pro says these are all a go. Plus, did a little bit of research, asked around. Kirk Evans told me he liked slight lean towards the over. No opinion on the side in this game. He got the number that he got for context was 214.5. It has since moved to 215.5 -114. So just be aware of that. But he thought that 214.5 was a good number. I know you guys always want to hear what Kirk is on. So yeah, there you go. Head over to FanDuel.com/forward progress to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliates, Kansas Casino, 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. For Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867. All right. Let's get into today's show. Our first guest. He's the director of marketing here at the Hammer Betting Network. He is the inaugural Hammer Fantasy Champion. GStack George. How's it going, my friend?
I am well, my friend. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. You're a little jolly. You got a little pep in your step today. What's happening? You were on the Carolina Hurricanes last night. You faded me?
No, I'm manufacturing this energy. I actually went out for dinner last night and I had just one single drink.
Okay.
But I guess I am getting to an age now where even one drink ruins my sleep. So this is all manufactured energy.
You are in pain right now. Then it sounds like, but don't do 999 then if you ever go to a Jays game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to think that I don't think I could do it. I thought that would be an easy thing to do, but one drink ruined my sleep. So maybe I'm washed.
What's your drink of choice when you go out, George?
I went for steak, so I just had some red wine. I guess the sugars or whatever in it just I don't know, interfered with my sleep.
Okay, didn't get a good sleep. That's all right.
Do I look tired? How are the bags under my eyes?
Oh, you look fine. I look more tired than you. I feel like I got a great sleep last night though. Finally busted open the AC, so that was a treat to sleep for me last night. We're gonna break down NFL and UFL stuff here on the show today, George. I'll let you pick with what you want to start. NFL, UFL. You want to break down the games first for the UFL?
Yeah, let's do it. There's only 2 games. The playoffs have begun. We have the 4 seed DC, who started off the season 5-1, lost their last 4 games in a row. Obviously, they lost their quarterback, and they're kind of reeling. They play Orlando, who was the 1 seed, finished 8-2. The line opened 3.5. And the one thing I noticed, Jason, the last 2 weeks, the market's kind of like all opening the same. Everyone's scared to take a position early. So it was like 3.5 across the board. We've seen DC money since. Right now at FanDuel, they still have it Orlando 3.5 plus 100. This is an interesting matchup, Jason, and I want to actually break down some of the matchups within the matchups. Like when DC has the ball, DC gives up the most sacks in the league, but they get an Orlando team that actually doesn't generate a pass rush, second worst in the league, worst team in the playoffs. DC will need to run the ball to have success. They were the best team in the regular season in yards per carry and yards per game. This is actually Orlando's weakness. They can't stop the run, second worst in the season. But the key for DC is they can't turn the ball over. Last week they've actually played, oddly enough, Jason, 3 weeks in a row now. So DC was kind of in control, drove inside the 10, and then they turned the ball over and it was returned for a touchdown. They can't play from behind. They have a backup quarterback in. He's not very good. So the key for DC is they got to keep running and moving the chains and not turn the ball over. For Orlando, they are second best team at not giving up sacks, but they play a team that is the second best at generating them. So it's kind of a very intriguing matchup. Orlando doesn't run the ball well, like third worst rushing attack on the year, but they have Jack Plummer. They sling the ball well. Their success comes from having like fewest turnovers in the league, not giving up sacks. Orlando's key is they have to jump out early, force DC to play from behind. So there might be some live betting opportunities. Like if Orlando's up by a touchdown in the second half, there's an opportunity that they could really extend the lead. That being said, most of the market's at 2.5. FanDuel's hanging plus 3.5, minus 120 on DC. It's very off. I'm going to take some DC plus 3.5, minus 120 at FanDuel. Best price in market by far. Don't think it will last long.
All right, plus 3.5, minus 120 for the DC Defenders is where we're looking. But also keep your eyes out. Games on at 3:00 on Sunday. be by the screen because, like you said, if Orlando's up late in the game, could extend the lead, could be some live betting opportunities there. Any opinion on the total here? I know you mentioned DC kind of likes to run the ball a lot, and that's where they're going to see success. Does that lean itself to like a lower total?
Yeah, if I don't have an opinion on the total, but if you like DC to win or cover, you probably it probably comes because they're having success on the ground and killing a lot of that clock. So I tend to, if you want DC, probably lean to the under. And if you're thinking Orlando, because Orlando's games where they win and they look really good, they are pressing the ball down the field, and then that will force DC also to have to start throwing as well. So it's kind of correlated to which side you like, but I just like the, when the whole market's at 2.5 and you're getting a 3.5, even though it's juiced at -120, it's still an off price. Like a 3 would have been an off price. A 3.5 -120 is definitely off.
All right, the 3.5 120 is off, so we're going to take that for the DC defenders. Kings, Battlehawks. With what you tell me about this Battlehawks team, their home field advantage, I would have expected this number to be a little bit more shaded towards them. -120 on the money line, -1.5 -110 for the Battlehawks. Talk me through this game.
So these are my two highest rated teams in the playoffs. I actually have them quite close. So I think the line is fair. It opened 2.5. We've seen Louisville money. I make the line like St. Louis, like 2.2. Not much different than the opening line, but we've seen Louisville money since. Right now at FanDuel, it's St. Louis -1.5, 110. Totals 46.5. Both these teams finished 6-4. Okay, I'm gonna show you why I like St. Louis and why some of the numbers are such outliers and crazy. But let's start with when Louisville has the ball. In the trenches, there's a huge problem. Louisville has given up the second most sacks in the season, and they play a St. Louis team that's the best single team at generating pressure. So it's a gigantic problem for Louisville. They also don't run the ball well, and St. Louis is one of the best run defenses in football. So it basically forces them to become one-sided against a Battlehawks defense that is the best. The key now, Louisville doesn't turn the ball over. Second best at hanging on to the ball. St. Louis, on the other hand, is very good at generating turnovers. So I expect Louisville will be more cautious, and I think they're going to punt the ball a lot more. And the key matchup is actually when St. Louis has the ball. This is the nitty-gritty of, and I'm gonna give you a number that's going to blow your mind. But in the trenches, St. Louis is like middle of the pack in sacks allowed, but they were actually like the best, and then they gave up 7 sacks last week. It was such a weird outlier performance to end the season. St. Louis does not run the ball well. Second worst in the league. Louisville's got a really good run defense, so I actually don't think they're going to try to run. And to their credit, they don't try to run the ball. It's like some teams in the NFL are ignorant of the fact that they suck and they keep running. St. Louis is not that team. They like to chuck the ball. They like to chuck it to Hakeem Butler. The problem is, and this is the entire game here, Jason, 4 teams that made the playoffs. They were first, second, and fourth in giveaways. So they protect the ball. This is basic football, right? You don't turn over the ball, you're probably a good team. St. Louis is dead last in the league. They turn over the ball more than anybody. And they're they're the 2 seed. This is how good their defense is. And this is how good they move the ball. But Luis Perez is just like so careless right now. He's short arming deep balls. He got picked last week, did not see the linebacker drop into coverage. And it's been a huge problem. And here's the problem. Louisville is the single best team at generating turnovers. This is the biggest discrepancy in net turnovers. So Louisville +7 on the season, and St. Louis as the 2 seed -5 in net turnovers in 10 games. It's kind of insane when you actually put that in perspective. But the entire key to the game, St. Louis throws the ball well. Second best passing attack in the UFL. Louisville gives up the second most yards. They actually suck at defending the pass. Really good at everything else. If St. Louis turns the ball over, it's an intriguing matchup, and Louisville obviously has the advantage. But without turnovers, St. Louis is a clearly better team than them. So one more time, Jason. We're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. I'm gonna take St. Louis -1.5 one last time. Let's ride. You understand, Jason? Best team at generating pressure, great at generating turnovers. No one can run on them. No one can pass on them. The second best passing attack in the league. They don't allow sacks. The one thing they do bad is
Turn the ball over.
They turn the ball over at an astronomical rate. If they can avoid that, they're the best team in the league.
All right, St. Louis -1.5, -110. Do you like? Let's take a look at the outright championship winners. Battlehawks +240, Kings +340, Orlando +160. Anything you like in terms of outrights? Like, how do you feel like St. Louis matches up between Orlando and DC? Like, do you feel like there's a strong matchup there? St. Louis versus Orlando. Like, who has the matchup edge? Just looking forward 1 week.
Yeah, I would say they have the matchup advantages over. Like, this is the one thing about St. Louis: they've beaten every single team in the playoffs. They match up very well against them. I will say something. Do you remember last week we were talking about player prop stuff?
Yes.
And Luis Perez was like 206.5, and I'm like, I like his over. He got it in the first half. So St. Louis throws the ball a ton. There's no player prop stuff available yet. If that stuff filters in, I like Luis Perez anything under like 225 to go over in the passing yards. I think they're a true key. They're not going to waste their time running the ball. They are going to sling against them. But I don't like any of the prices in the futures market. I just want to ride our Battlehawks future.
Ride the Battlehawks future. Roll over the Battlehawks after they win this week. Hopefully we'll take them. Maybe we'll take them next week. Who knows? Neutral site might not be in their favor. So just to recap there, DC Defenders +3.5, -120 for George, and the St. Louis Battlehawks -1.5, -110 as the official picks. Also, if you missed that first segment talking about the Defenders and the Storm, like you said, George, keep your eye out on that second half, because if Orlando is up by a touchdown, they could extend that lead. There might be some interesting prices on some overs there. So just keep an eye out for that. NFL, quickly, tier list stuff. When you sit down and do a tier list like this, you sort of challenge your preconceived notions of teams. You actually have to go through the nitty gritty, get your hands a little dirty, and put some stakes on it. This team is better than this team.
Yes.
No, this team should be higher.
Yes.
Right? Your preconceived notions change when you do stuff like that. So talk me through the process of the tier list. Any teams you feel like shocked you in your placement?
Yeah, so a lot of the early stuff we did in like March, April is like vibes based. Kind of you're seeing the guys coming in. So you get actually swept up in some of the vibes or the feelings around a team. And then I'm going through the tier list and we do the defense, and I'm like, I came to the conclusion Philadelphia had the third best defense in the league behind Houston and Seattle. And then I do the O-line list with Cleve, and I come to the conclusion Philly's got the third best O-line. So I said, okay, maybe I've been too harsh on Philly. Then I go through the process of actually looking at every single team. And I came to the conclusion that I was too harsh on Philadelphia. And I've come back around on Philadelphia because Jason, last year they were top 10 in defensive EPA and success rate. And I actually think they were better after acquiring Jalen Phillips. So I actually think they played closer to a top 5 level than the numbers. And then they were like 17th in offensive EPA, 22nd in offensive success rate, with a Kevin Patullo who must have been the worst offensive play caller. So their talent overcame vanilla play call, right? They also were losing. They were also missing Lane Johnson for second half of the season. So I went through this, Jason. Defensively, they got better. Like they lose Jalen Phillips, but they bring in Jonathan Grenard. They lose Nakobe Dean, but they spent the first round pick the year before on Jihad Campbell, and so he played really well. And Zach Bond, and they're a good linebacking core. They take Tariq Woolen, who's like the number 2 corner on Seattle, and they say you're our number 3 corner, which is an insane thing to say. And then offensively, they lose AJ Brown, but they draft Mekhi Lemon. They draft Eli Stowers. They trade for Dontavian Wicks. I'm like, that's not a bad way of replacing AJ Brown in an offseason, kind of like a collection of talent. And I just came back to, I said, if last year they were I think the 2 or 3 seed in the NFC, and they were like top 10 defensively with middle of the pack offense, if they are a top 5 defense and like the 12th best offense, that's a legit contender for a title. So I've come all the way back around on the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's almost like Stockholm syndrome with this Eagles team. It's just like you forget how great the talent on field is after one offseason. Jalen Hurts can really just put a bad taste in your mouth for this team.
Because he was so ugly. Like you can't eliminate that Chargers game where it was like he single-handedly was awful.
Someone pointed this out. I forgot about this because we were talking about this, I think, last week or maybe earlier in the week as well. There was a play where Jalen Hurts threw a pick, forced a fumble, picked up the fumble, and then fumbled it again himself. Yeah. 2 turnovers on one play.
You know how I know that? Okay, I was playing Alex. This was the final fantasy week, and I was only up by 9 points. It was Monday Night Football, and Alex had Jalen Hurts left. Yeah. And I remember because he got like -4 on that play.
Single play. It's insane.
I'm like, just so good. 2 turnovers from Jalen Hurts.
You know what? You know what? He should get an extra 2 points for forcing a fumble, though. He deserves that. He deserves that in fantasy. Okay, so you were higher than expected on the Eagles. Any team you were lower than expected on?
I mean, okay, I've already got somebody in the comments yelling at me about Seattle. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say. I have Seattle as like the 6th or 7th best team. Yeah. I mean, am I crazy to think that they've lost some talent? I also think a lot of their run was kind of like perfect storm at the moment. I don't know that Seattle is for sure a top 3 or 4 team this year. I was surprisingly lower on like Washington. I know they made a lot of good moves in the offseason, but I can't get over the fact that they have 2 new coordinators. Kind of felt like a desperate hire situation. They have an O-line that's unsettled. Outside of Terry McLaurin, there's nothing that really scares you offensively. And defensively, they still have, like, you know, they were a bottom 3 defense by the end of the year. Even with their acquisitions, if they're still just a bottom 7 defense, like the 24th best defense, what's their offensive ceiling? I kind of feel middle of the pack. I don't feel like they have a top 10 offensive ceiling, and that's a huge problem for them.
Yeah, it all depends also on the health of Jaden Daniels as well. If he can like return to his form from 2 years ago, we'll see.
Yeah. So that's the hard part is like people who are optimistic are hanging on to year 1 priors. But I'm like, I don't know. Year 1 just felt like a little bit of a perfect storm, and a 90% conversion rate on 4th downs was like unsustainable. So yeah, I'm quite interested there.
I don't think you're too low on the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks, with what they've lost in the offseason, is a fair place to put them. And I wouldn't have blamed you if you put them even like maybe 2 or 3 teams lower. You're too low on the Bears. I already told you that. That's fine. Commanders, though, I agree with that. That's a good one. Yeah.
You know what's interesting, Jason, about the Bears? I feel the entire division is good. Just I don't know that any of them have a true Super Bowl ceiling. Like, okay. Here, what do the Bears need to be a Super Bowl team? Because their defense was quite bad last year.
Yeah.
If Caleb has to become on a down to town basis consistent, like he has to become a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, you need him to be an MVP, and you need the defense to stay healthy, because that was also a problem with the team last year as well. As like they didn't have great talent, but a lot of injuries. Yes,
the secondary was entirely hurt. Yeah. I agree, but they also relied on like an insane amount of turnovers. So you know what I have a problem with is, like, you draft Dylan Tieneman in the 1st round as a safety. It's like, okay, like you could have drafted a safety like Treydon Stukes or Keontae Scott in like round 2 or 3. They did not address the D-line. They didn't generate a pass rush last year. And then they said, you know what? We don't need to add anybody in the D-line. So if I'm them, I'm going to try to steal Reddick out of Arizona, right? Get a pass rusher, do something to improve this team.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. I just think they're the best team in the division with the highest ceiling. But yeah, maybe the chat disagrees.
Listen, they might be. I think I ended up having them number 2. I think I ended up going Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota when I actually broke down how they rank. But I think they're a lot closer together. Detroit just has the advantage of having the most insanely easy schedule. So Detroit as a 4th place team. So in common opponents, they are lucky that they get like Arizona, where like the rest of the division has to play the top 3 teams in the NFC West. Like they get the 2 other really good bad fourth place teams, where the the gap in win total, I think, from uncommon opponents is the largest I've ever seen. So obviously teams with a fourth place schedule have a better advantage, but this year the 3 fourth place teams are all bottom feeders, whereas like the other teams kind of have to face tougher competition.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's fair. All right, George. Listen, we've gone too long here. I could ramble all day about this. We got questions in the chat about your love for the Dolphins, too high on the tier list. You got to put them lower.
I actually think the Dolphins are the single worst team in football.
They're last, but chat wants them lower. That's possible.
I finally took the rose-colored glasses off, and I looked, and I'm like, there's no talent on this team. Like, there's no weapons. The O-line is the worst in the league. Defensively, there's like 2 good players, and then you're praying. We have like 13 rookies that we drafted this year. Honestly, I looked at the Dolphins. I'm like, because I thought Arizona was worse than us. I thought we were kind of in the Jets conversation. And I finally took the rose-colored glasses off, and I said, oh my goodness, we are the worst team in football.
They're really bad, George. It's gonna be a fun year for you. Tank for Arch ? I don't know who's gonna be the first quarterback.
Nobody loves the Manning family more than me. No, it is true. I think Peyton is better than Tom Brady. I think Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I have strong opinions on the Manning. So if I deserve Arch Manning, nobody else.
All right. Well, you might get him, and hope he does well for you, George. George, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow George on Twitter at George Silfides GStack. We'll chat soon. Enjoy your weekend.
Sounds good. Thank you, my friend.
Great stuff there from George. As always, we got a boogie. Because we're running a little bit behind here. Before we bring on Goon, who's in the background right now, quickly, if you're toggling between sportsbook tabs, trying to find the best price, best number, you're giving up your edge before you even place that bet. BetStamp Pro pulls real-time odds from over 200 sportsbooks, regulated, offshore, PPH exchanges, and prediction markets, all on one screen with sub-second latency. But the real advantage is BetStamp's true line of proprietary algorithm that aggregates the sharpest books to calculate what a real number should be. You're not just seeing odds, you're seeing where the edge actually is. Sort by EV, filter by hold, and identify off-market lines the second they appear. This is the same tool professional bettors use to scale their profits. Head over to betstamp.com/hammer to get a 14-day free trial and see the full main market screen for yourself. Link is in the description, or scan that QR code on screen. betstamp.com/hammer. All right. Group F, Group G, Group H. Time to boogie on some World Cup. Let's bring him on up here. He is a football handicapper getting prepared for his North American World Cup tour. Adrian, a.k.a. Drunkn Goon. Goon, how's it going?
Friday. We're 1 week away from Canada playing in the World Cup. Can't be too excited, but very excited.
It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. You're going to that game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. If only they were playing the Italians, it would have been even better environment. But Bosnia should still be a great game. What's the jersey today? I can't really see it. That's
so I thought you had the odds on the jersey, so I went off the board. It's a Costa Rica shirt.
Okay. All right. Tamarindo. I love Costa Rica. Great country. Great place to visit. Don't know how great they are at soccer, but anyways, we'll get into the groups. We'll get into the groups today. Let's start with the Group F preview here. We've got Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. The biggest story coming out of this group is there we go. There we go. The biggest story of this group is Netherlands losing their maybe their best creative player, who tore his ACL a couple weeks ago. Pretty unfortunate time. I believe he tore it like late April. The Dutch should handle this group pretty easily. They are minus 140, but with that loss, it's a question how deep they'll be able to go in the tournament. Talk me through if you like Netherlands here at the minus 140 number. Is that still okay for them to win the group with no Simons? Talk me through how far you could see this team going again with their injuries.
So I think Japan's going to give them a run for the money in the group, so I would not bet that minus 140. I love the Dutch and the way they play, attacking style. Firmly believe that they'll win a World Cup eventually. They lost 3 finals to them in extra time before you were born, I was born. But, it's just a matter of time. This year's squad is well-balanced. But the one issue I see is they're lacking a little bit of firepower up top. The injury to Xavi Simons is a big blow, and they're only going to go as far as Memphis takes them, basically. The issue with the Dutch is that they do not lose games in the World Cup. basically the last time they lost a World Cup game was the final in 2010, which is an extra time, and before that they lost to Portugal in regulation in 2006. So 20 years. I think that spans about 25 games and just one regulation loss. So this is a team that gets through the group stage. They get going in around the 16 or 32 or whatever, and usually loses to the eventual winner on PKs. That's the script. So the Dutch are not to be underestimated here. They will make a run, and the draw sets up well for them for a game with Spain in the quarterfinals, I believe. So the roster's strong. They have really 3 good options in net, and Verbruggen's probably the first option. They have some absences, like you said, Xavi in midfield, also De Ligt on defense. He's been partnering with Van Dijk for the longest time, and now he's out. The other issue is a lot of players are coming off injuries, or they didn't have starting roles. Ake, Dumfries, De Jong, Rangers. The positive is that they should be well rested and ready to go here. The issue is if they're not 100%, you never know what you're going to get at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're looking to fade sort of that minus 140, 130, 130 on FanDuel. I think I misspoke that. Yeah, minus 130 on FanDuel here for Netherlands. Let's move over and talk. You said Japan. They are a legitimate threat. They have a chance to upset Netherlands and win out in this group. They're on a pretty hot run here. They've beaten England before, which is the first ever Asian nation to do that. They beat Brazil in a friendly last October. Things seem to be trending up for this Japan team. Right now, they are plus 280 to win the group. Any opinion here on them to win the group? Where do you think they most likely finish?
I think they'll eventually finish second, but they will give the Dutch a run for it. Just a reminder, this team beat Germany and Spain at the last World Cup. And they had Belgium spike the balls in Russia before blowing a 2-0 lead and losing 3-2 in added time. So this is a serious team. They've basically exported all their talent. They have key roles in big clubs. Suzuki in net at Parma, and then you have Ito playing left back at Bayern when Davies is out. Seno was the key playmaker at Mainz. Wataru Endo had a bit of up and down season at Liverpool, but for a national team, he's really, really awesome. Kubo at Sociedad is one of my favorite players in Europe. Like, his ball skills are just, he's one of the street boys. And then they have depth. And one thing that they do really well is they make adjustments. The coach, Moriyasu, he is the first manager to coach their national team to back-to-back World Cups. And what he does is he does not start all his regulars and makes adjustments at halftime, brings players on. So from that perspective, something to look during the tournament is betting Japan team totals in the second half. After they make the adjustments, that's something to keep an eye on.
All right. So a team that might just benefit from the second half adjustments. I love how in all of these previews you're just dropping like little nuggets that we can do and we can keep track of throughout the tournament while watching games live. If you haven't checked out the other group previews, you can check them out under the video tab of our page. Let's flip over and talk Sweden and Tunisia. Sweden, like, their firepower comes from up front. Isak and Gyökeres. I hope I'm pronouncing that.
Close enough.
Gyökeres. Two obviously very, very strong forwards who just allow the Swedish firepower to score at will. Other team in the tournament is Tunisia. They seem to be sort of, again, it feels like every single group has that one team that feels like they're really drawing dead, and that might be the case with Tunisia here as well. Sweden 4-1 to win the group. Tunisia 13-1 to win the group. Do you think either of these teams can maybe squeak out of their expected spots of third and fourth respectively, or do you think this group is pretty much set?
I doubt it. Sweden had a tough time in qualifying. They actually didn't win a game, but they kind of worked their way into the playoffs with the Nations League spot that they won previously. Once they made the coaching change, they had 3 months to get ready, and they did well. They beat Ukraine at a neutral site game 3-1. Gyökeres got a hat trick in that one, and then at home against Poland, it went kind of back and forth. They were leading 1-0, 2-1. 2-2 late, and they were kind of second best, but then they got the winner late, Gyökeres again. So Isaac was not available through qualifying, not through qualifying, through the playoffs because he suffered a season-long injury. He just got back in April, scored a goal for Liverpool. Then he got hurt again, a different issue. He had a broken leg, and then he got a hamstring issue. So I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be good to go here. Maybe later in the tournament, if he plays. I have some doubts about his abilities. So I'm kind of careful on Sweden because I've got burned by them in the past, to be honest. They've also made some really interesting roster decisions when they announced their 26. They kept Carl Green, the keeper from Nantes, off. The winger Svedberg from Celta, he was basically a lock to go, and for some reason he's not on the roster. And then the youngster at Barcelona, Rooney Bargi, I want to say, good with that type of name. He was left off because apparently he had some attitude issues when he was left on the bench. He didn't agree with the coach, and he had some things to say. So there's also questions in net for Sweden. For the longest time, they had Olsen playing there, and he kind of not officially retired, but kind of worked his way towards retirement. So now they have three guys from the local league battling for the number 1 spot. Norfeld played the 2 qualifiers, but I'm not really inspired by his display so far. So I have questions about Sweden and their defense. Going forward, yeah, they have firepower. If Isaac plays, him and Gyökeres should be really, really good. And Elanga on the other side, this team can generate chances. It's interesting that they didn't bring a playmaker along. They had the opportunity to bring a guy that plays in the MLS for New York, but decided not to bring him. And now there's questions about getting the ball to these awesome strikers. So keep an eye on the lineups and maybe bet some Sweden totals over if all things line up.
Yeah, could be an insane firepower on both sides with how weak their defense is, how strong their 2 forwards are there, like we mentioned here. Let's talk through your exact finishing order for Group F. It seems like we said, it's sort of laid out here, but you think there's a chance that Japan could upset things. I want to look towards the bottom, though. Would you be interested at all in Sweden to maybe not qualify, or maybe Tunisia exacted to finish 3rd at around plus 240, Sweden not qualify around plus 176 here? Obviously, there's a chance they can finish 3rd and not qualify.
So I took 2 bets in this group so far. Tunisia not to qualify, minus 150 at bet 365. That's good to minus 175 for me. I just think they're too defensive, and they're not going to score enough in this tournament to get at least 3 points that needed to advance. And the other bet was the opener, the Dutch against Japan, over 2.5, minus 102. Good to minus 115 for me. Both teams, they like to open up and go for chances, and I think it's going to be an awesome game, and we'll see some goals in that one, even if it's the first game of the season. One thing to mention that's got to be seen is the Dutch fans. They ship party bus to Houston and have that awesome left to right fans movement. It's just awesome to see. You'll see the videos, and they'll make the rounds. They'll go viral. So all right,
yeah, left to right, right to left. Sweet. This Dutch team should be a lot of fun. Didn't realize they shipped a party bus out here. That is next level dedication.
Oh yeah, they have acts. So basically, they'll have concerts on the bus, and the bus kind of rolls around, and the fans follow it. And it's I don't know how Houston police is going to deal with that, but not my problem.
Yeah, not your problem. It's all good. I'm sure they'll be safe. They'll be fine. All right, that wraps up Group F then. Exact finishing order for me quickly. What did you have it at?
Dutch first, Japan second, Sweden third, Tunisia fourth.
All right, makes perfect sense. That's it for Group F. All right, let's get into Group G. Break down this group here: Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. Belgium, this feels like they're sort of last, it's an end of an era for them almost, right? This is maybe their last chance with this cohort. Obviously, De Bruyne's still there, but it's kind of, I don't want to say that he's over the hill, but he's getting up there in age. Courtois is still there. Lukaku, I mean, he could still be their starter, but this core group is just little. Well, I don't want to call them past their prime. I feel like that's disrespectful to say, but over the hill. Yeah, I was gonna lean towards there, over the hill here. Talk me through how, if you like Belgium in this group. They're around minus 200 right now to win this group.
That's
Group
good
G,
price.
Belgium. Talk me through it.
Yeah. So basically, Belgium, did what they had to do in qualifying. It wasn't that impressive. 5 wins, 3 draws, but they finished ahead of Wales and never in doubt really. They have a few players that are missing out. So Romeo Olivia in midfield. They took Courtois back. So Courtois didn't play for a bunch of years between the last World Cup and this one. He had some issues with management and sleeping with somebody else's wife and things like that. But he's back. And let's remember, he stopped a PK against Canada. Pain. But that was the only game they won in Qatar. They got grouped. So I think they're ready for their redemption tour a little bit here. Luis Openda is off the roster, and that was a bit of a shock. But there's a striker at Lille that they're bringing in, and he's expected to fill in Matias Fernandez Pardo if Lukaku's not 100%. So he might be a good option, an interesting option at plus 200 to be Belgium's top scorer. I think the games in this group, they're going to rotate guys quite a bit, so keep an eye on that. And depending how far they go, he might be a good option for a nice double-digit hit.
All right. We'll keep an eye out for that as well. Let's flip over and talk this Egypt team. It feels like it's a pretty tight battle between Egypt and Iran here for second in the group. Any lean one way or the other? Obviously, Egypt has the class and quality of Mo Salah, but again, aging. Do you like Egypt to finish second in this group?
Actually, I don't. I got Iran finishing second, but just pretty close call. Egypt's one of those teams that, they're reliant on Salah, but they also have other options, Marmoush up top and Trezeguet. That attacking trio is really good going forward. The only issue I have is who's going to get the ball to them. Egypt is really organized at the back. They have a good veteran goalie, and the midfield is very good at shutting things down, but I'm not sure they have a playmaker to distribute the ball going forward. So if they can create on their own, they'll do well. If they have to build from the back, it might be a bit of a struggle for Egypt. There's a teenager that plays in Barcelona youth system, Hamza Abdel Karim. No pressure on him. They gave him the number 9 guy and say, "Hey, you're the next Salah."
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what happens with that.
All right, yeah, it's a story to keep an eye on. 18-year-old, born in 2008. Jesus, this is just. These numbers are shocking to me, but yeah. All right, Hamza Abdel Karim, we got to keep an eye on him, see if he can promote the ball and create some quality opportunities for Salah and Marmoush there. This Iranian team sounds like you like them to finish second. They're plus 210 right now. They've got a shot. Talk me through what about this Iranian side you like?
So honestly, I'm just looking for chaos. If US finishes second and Iran finishes second in this group, they end up playing in the round of 32, and I really want to see that. The battle of there. Just for political and economical reasons, it would be fun to see. Iran, they have this guy in charge, Amir Galanoi. He's been coaching since 2006. I think it has a lot more to do with political affiliations than his ability to coach. He's glory to a regime more than X and O's guys. But again, another team that has a really good goalie, really good structure. They're missing their playmaker. Because he's made some anti-government statements, Sardar Azmoun. So that is a big gap. They have a guy that's kind of a lifer in stepping up in that playmaker role, Sanan Godush, somebody to keep an eye on. The striker Taremi is well-traveled. He was doing a lot of damage in Champions League at Porto. He's now at Olympiacos. Don't expect a lot going forward from this team, but they're going to be hard to break down. If they are ahead or tied, they're a tough team. If they have to play from behind, they're in trouble.
Yeah, it could be an interesting storyline to watch here because they play Iran plays Egypt in the last match of the on the final match day, which could essentially be the decider for the second place spot here. If Iran can play their cards right versus New Zealand.
I'm a little torn. I'm going to all 3 Egypt games, so I'm kind of rooting for them, but also at the same time for Iran. So we'll see how it goes on the day.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Belgium just trapdoor falls beneath Belgium, and Egypt can do well, and still Iran can still finish in second there. Talk me through New Zealand back at the World Cup again since first time since 2010. They've never won a World Cup match. Can they do it this year? How does New Zealand's squad look here? Are they just again drawing dead like we often see for these the fourth teams in all these groups?
So New Zealand has the easiest path to a World Cup based on their current qualification system. They play Fiji, New Caledonia, Samoa, countries like that to get through. So it's hard to evaluate them. I've looked at the friendlies, and a draw with Norway, a win against Chile, they're kind of eye-popping. But also you see a 4-0 loss this week to Haiti. So it's like, where is this team? They have the one striker, Chris Wood, from playing for Forest, a couple of championship players, some depth MLS guys. So it's really not much on paper there. But let's remember last time they were in it, 2010, they drew three games against Italy, Slovakia, and Paraguay. So don't overlook these guys. What I want to see here is them coming out and doing the rugby haka before the game and put some fear of God into the opponents and see what happens from there.
Yeah, finished fourth in the group right now. They're minus 150 to not qualify, minus 255. Markets are down and out on this team, but the haka could be a difference maker. Can't really quantify a good haka. Give me your exact finishing order here for Group G. We got Belgium and Egypt opening up things in Seattle. It sounds like you're going to be there. De Bruyne versus Salah, which could be a lot of fun. To talk me through exact finishing order, for Group G and anything else you like in terms of futures bets.
Okay, so I got Belgium on 7 points, Iran on 5, Egypt on 4, and New Zealand on 0 points. I got 2 bets in the group. Iran to qualify, yes, minus 182. It's good to minus 200. And Belgium, I bet minus 222 to win the group. Good to minus 275. You mentioned minus 200, so let me know where you're betting that. So I'd like to add some.
It's minus 250. I didn't pull that correctly. That's my fault. That's my fault there. But yeah, minus 250 is available on FanDuel for Belgium to finish first in the group. Also, you can bet the exact points here on FanDuel, which you can do on most sportsbooks. But again, those exactas, if you agree with Goon on some of these, you can bet them. New Zealand exact is 0 is plus 310.
One interesting thing is neither of New Zealand, Egypt, or Iran has made it out of the group stage before in the World Cup. So one of them will break that duck, maybe, hopefully, too.
It seems like I feel like a lot of just with the nature now, a lot of teams are going to be have never made it out and have a chance to make it out now. But yeah, feels like the round of 32 is a participation trophy. Then things get real when we hit the round of 16. Last group here. Pardon?
Unless you're Italy.
Unless you're, yeah, there we go. Here we go. You didn't need to slip that in. That was just unnecessary. Anyways, that wraps up Group G. Yeah. All right. Let's flip over. Talk Group H preview. Got Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde. Spain. They're building to be one of the better teams in the world right now with Yamal. Talk me through what you like with this team. It feels like this is like the most lopsided group in terms of the quality outside of Spain. Talk me through Spain's dominance in this group and how far you think they can go in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the number one team in the world, bookies' favorite to lift the trophy. They should win this group comfortably and set up a path, playing in third place, Algeria and LA, then Portugal or Colombia in round of 16 in Dallas, quarterfinal against Belgium, and then semifinal against France. So there's going to be a lot of travel for Spain in this World Cup, jumping across time zones, different environments, air conditioning in Dallas, heat in LA. So they need to manage their roster for the long run here. So I think the first 2 games are in Atlanta in the Dome against the 2 weaker teams in the group, against Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. So I expect them to rotate through the roster and put up some big numbers early, and then cruise in the final game against Uruguay. There's battle for the number 1 job in net. Unai Simon didn't have the best of seasons with Bilbao, and Raya won the EPL. He wishes he won the Champions League, and Garcia won the La Liga. So should be a pretty good battle for the number 1 job, and Spain's going to be in good hands no matter who plays. What can you say about the rest of it? I mean, the back line is stacked. Their depth is stacked. I'm looking forward to seeing Cucurella play at left back and just zooming up and down that wing. Yamal will dominate. Williams. Spain's got speed. They got possession. The one thing I like is like Luis de la Fuente has been the coach since 2023, and he coached a lot of these players at the youth levels for Spain. They're no longer the team that just plays tiki-taka to keep possession. They're not passing with purpose and directness. I think they learned a lesson losing to Russia in 2018, and then dominating and going to penalties with Morocco in 2022. They need to put teams away they can't afford to go to penalties or extra time with any opponent. So they want to take care of business as soon as possible, and that should serve them well. The other thing with De La Fuentes is he makes amazing in-game adjustments. And keep in mind that now there's 2 hydration breaks in the World Cup, so there's an opportunity for teams to alter tactics if things are not going their way or they're struggling to break something down. They have those 3 minutes to make adjustments and have kind of a fresh new start. I have them losing in the semis to the French, but I'm not advising anybody to bet against Spain.
Yeah, no, I can't believe the way the draw goes. It seems like unfortunate that Spain's gonna have to play France in the semis there, but hey, that's the way the draw goes. Uruguay is the other team that sort of we'll talk about a step down in quality, and then they're sort of a head and shoulder above Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. It feels like they're locked in to finish second in this group, but how far can they really go? Who would they like? Which group do they end up playing in the round of 32 if they do finish in second place here? This Uruguay team, give me your opinion on it. How far you think they can go?
I don't think we have to worry about finishing in second there for Uruguay. I have him actually finishing third.
Okay.
So surprise. Marcelo Bielsa is one of the the best coaches in the world, but he might be getting up in age there and making some interesting decisions. They chose not to play any friendlies since March. They don't have anything for the June window, and they basically set their roster and they're going to say, hey, let's go, let's play. Fourth in South American qualifying, tied to Colombia, Brazil, and Paraguay. On paper, this team is loaded. Having Valverde dictated midfield, a loaded offense with Darwin Nunez up top. The problem is who's not there, right? So you don't have Suarez because obviously he's getting old and they don't want anybody getting bitten in the tournament. But they also lost Diarra Escaeta from Flamengo. He's their playmaker. Another old soldier, Cavani from Boca, is not there. And interestingly enough, without Diarra Escaeta, they chose to leave Lucas Torreira from Galata home as well. So this team doesn't really have like a playmaker. They have a couple of really good defensive mids. Valverde likes to play a little on the side. So getting the ball to Nunez up top might be an issue. Also in net, Muslera is still there. He's over the hill, so they're probably gonna go with Roche. If things don't go well, will they flip? Will they make adjustments? I think they're ripe for somebody to surprise them, and I have Saudi Arabia being the team that shocks them.
Wow, Saudi Arabia being the team that shots on the repeat of 2022 when they upset another South American team in Argentina. I guess that just naturally brings us to the next part. What part of this Saudi Arabian team do you like? Do you think that could make them repeat an upset here like they did in the last World Cup? What about, is it like their tactics? Is it their coaching? Is there anyone on their team you're looking at? Like why Saudi Arabia to upset Uruguay?
So it's more a play against Uruguay than a play on Saudi Arabia. It's not the coaching because Hervé Renard and his cool white shirts on the sidelines are now gone. They're managed by a Greek manager now, Georgios Dennis. Maybe George knows him. I don't. But I think the investment of money the Saudis have made in their league and bringing all these stars to play with their local players, it's starting to pay off. The level of play has improved. They actually exported a couple of players to Serie A and France. So I think the way they did it against Argentina with that high tempo and taking the game to them, they could do the same to Uruguay and shock them here. It's just a gut feeling. I don't have a lot on Saudi Arabia to back it, but I think Uruguay's are ready for a picking.
All right, let's close out with Cape Verde here, the second smallest nation at the World Cup, 500,000 population of just under 500,000. First time on the world stage. Do you have them to get a point? Are they going to be able to score a goal? Or am I underplaying am I underplaying them here? Or do they just again drawing dead in this fourth spot?
Probably, but I think this is going to be a really fun team to follow along. I mean, their head coach is disciplined, and he's got all these bombastic statements. He's got the island soul going. He's got great press conferences. He's like the polar opposite of Bill Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. He's playing like girls want to have fun in the locker room when it's like my boys are having fun. It's a great story for them to qualify. and I think they'll make the most of it. Quality-wise, they don't have a lot. They have some players playing all over Europe and Turkey and Russia and Portugal and all over the place. They have some speedy wingers, a couple of MLS connections with Steven Morera from Columbus and Dos Santos from San Diego. Issue is they're not going to have much support. Basically, their fans have to spend $15,000 on a visa bond to get to the World Cup. So if you want to see Spain and Uruguay, you probably just it's not too late to sign up as a fan of Cape Verde and maybe get your tickets that way. This is a very intelligent team. They know their limitations. They will work hard and do the best they can. They might get run off the pitch by Spain, but I think they could be competitive in a couple of games. Even
all right. Should make for a fun group here. We have, I guess, your exact finishing order here. Obviously, it's Spain, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay, and then Cape Verde. But the question I have for you is that Spain plays Uruguay on the final match day. So could there be an opportunity here for Uruguay to just almost sneak in, because if the Saudis do upset Uruguay, we could have a situation where Spain is resting starters and maybe Uruguay has an easier path through Spain?
Possibly, but I think they still get through as a third place team in the group,
and they're fine with that.
Yeah. So Spain will, even if they roll over, their squad is so good, and the players that will be bench players that will be coming in, they will be looking for a job for the next for the playoffs. So I don't expect them to take it easy on Uruguay. And if you can knock off a quality team at this stage, it means you don't have to worry about them at the later stage.
Very true. Very true. So it's playing the Saudi Arabia to finish second. Are you playing Uruguay to finish third? How are you playing this?
I haven't figured out which way to play it yet, but I will end up with some kind of either the head-to-head match on Saudi Arabia or some form of exact. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, exacta could be good here. To finish third in the group, Uruguay is plus 400. Saudi Arabia to finish second is plus 500. Gonna have to take a second to find the exactas here, but yeah, shop around, find those best prices. Goon, appreciate you wrapping up and breaking down Group H for us. We got more World Cup content coming to you guys on Monday, so make sure you guys tune in, smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Goon, we'll close it out on Monday with the last four groups. Appreciate you coming on here, sharing your knowledge. We'll chat soon.
All right, thank you.
Great stuff there from Adrian, as always, at Drunkn Goon on Twitter. Go give him a follow. No E in the. I feel like I should mention that. Link is in the description. It's Drunk and then just N Goon. So no E there. Anyways, you guys know that. All right. Let's pack up and head out. Before we do that, though, I just someone notified this to me here. The Bears are playing in Indiana. Is this chat? You got to let me know. Is this official? How should I feel about this? Oh my gosh, this is real. Yesterday, the Chicago Bears board of directors met and voted to advance our stadium development project in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site to be selected. We believe a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region connecting Northwest Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs, stretching north of the city. It'll bring Chicagoland together and deliver new opportunities to its residents and business. I feel like this is just a disaster. Why are they doing this? Can somebody explain to me why this is happening? Is this just a money play? Why are they doing this? What's wrong with Soldier? What's wrong with Soldier Field? What the heck's going on here? I don't know. I got to look at. I never thought that this was going to be a real thing. So I'm currently shocked at this. Don't know what's wrong with Soldier Field. Feels like you're kind of stabbing everyone in the back by doing this as a Bears ownership group. The Chicago Bears have built so much goodwill over the last 2 years by drafting a generational quarterback and playing pretty damn well with the football product on the field. But then you do this and you stab the fans in the back. I'm not a local Chicagonian. I can't imagine they're feeling too happy about this. This is awful. We cannot let this happen. I don't know if we start a petition. Maybe we start a petition. I'll look towards that on the weekend. Appreciate you guys tuning in here. Crazy stuff. What is going on? Before we head out, Dog of the day. We saw some NHL action last night. You know the drill here. We love Vegas. We are Team Vegas on this show. We think they're a good team. Should be a coin flip. It's not. Vegas right now, plus 108 with home ice advantage on the series price. Game price minus 110 both sides. I'm taking Vegas, not to win the series, but we're going to take them to win on the series spread, on the alt series spread on FanDuel, minus 1.5, plus 220. This Vegas Golden Knights team is just the better team. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't know how many times I can say this, and I'm just going to keep clicking until the series is over. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have to do something for Rob, maybe be his butler. I don't know. We have a bet on it, but Vegas Golden Knights minus 1.5, plus 220. Nothing changed for me from what I saw in Carolina yesterday. They got a big help from that challenge, which I still think was not the worst challenge ever, to help them go ahead in that game. Went to overtime. Still not a fan of Frederik Andersen. Still a fan of this Vegas Golden Knights team. Still think their top 9 is incredible. Still question marks around this top line of the Carolina Hurricanes. So Knights minus 1.5, series price plus 210 or plus 220. Excuse me. We're taking that, and we're heading into our weekend. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining the show here. Do us a huge favor before you head out. Smash the like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell. If you want to check out any other group previews, we got them live on the channel right now. Just go check out the channel, click the video tab, and it will all be there. Also, if you can't get if you can't get enough college football, Brad Powers, Joey Kanish, they're going to be there's going to be a video dropping today, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Hit the Books YouTube channel, discussing the most overrated coaches in college football right now. Should be a fun one. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Hit the Books YouTube channel. Go check it out. If you're listening on audio forms, rate, review 5 stars. If you're watching right now on screen, scan the QR code, join our Discord. A lot of fun during the game. We're always chatting in there during the games. I got to chill with my premature selling in the Discord because it's gone too far, and I'm gonna eat some crow here. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you're listening on audio form, rate and review 5 stars. Write a review. I want to do this segment where we read out your reviews, so make them funny, and I'll read them out. And that's it. That wraps up today's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Goon. Shout out to George. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to you guys for tuning in throughout the whole way. That's it. It's going to be a lovely weekend here. This has been the Friday, June 5th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.